Coral Horizon greeted her first sunrise on 21 January 1998 inside a sea salt-painted bungalow stilted above the mangrove flats of Kai Kalker, Belize. Nurse sharks were still cruising the shallows when her mother, a touring Punta Jazz drummer who tucks thyme sprigs in her stick bag, tapped a hush of REM clicks over the bassinet. Her father, a reef survey pilot who sketches cloud anvils on discarded flight manifests, leaned in until their noses brushed and promised his daughter that any ocean will pull back its tide for a body that keeps its stance wide and never folds inward. Curves ripple through the horizon bloodline the same way turquoise channels stripe the Belize Barrier Reef, so nobody fretted when baby Coral burst her second cotton wrap before the pelicans finished their dawn glide. Granny Esperanza loosened every seam with a coral bone needle, padded the gaps with scraps from a faded dye flag, and laughed that extra cloth costs only a coin while teaching a child to shrink might cost her every horizon she has yet to meet. Primary classroom smelled of chalk dust, coconut bread, and sun lotion. Coral already loomed above her classmates, eclipsing the projector glow whenever she diagrammed English compounds on the plywood board. One recess, two boys circled her, chanting, "Cargo ferry," each time her sandals thumped the hop grid. That night, she combed the tide line collecting soda caps, buffed smooth by waves, threaded them on nylon line into a tinkling backbone, and stitched the chain down her aqua hoodie. At roll call next dawn, the low January sun flashed silver constellations across ceiling tiles. A volunteer literacy coach caught 6 seconds on an old flip phone and uploaded the flicker to a new video site. By sunrise, 16,000 strangers had applauded the girl who turned ridicule into lighthouse shimmer. Coral wrote one promise in purple ink inside her spelling pad. Clouds crowding my sky are mirrors waiting for me to flash them clean. Saturdays belonged to the island market where her mother's kick drum rolled through stands of jam jar ATMs and saltfish. Store jeans halted at Coral's thighs, so she swapped tip jar coins for sun-rotted fishing net, unraveled it into soft cord, braided that cord into high-waist culottes, and spray-painted stingray silhouettes with squid ink. She posed at sunset against rusted cleat posts while her cousin snapped grainy photos. You dropped them into a diary called Reef Lantern the very week a slick photo app rippled along coastal cell towers. Captions danced between Garifuna proverbs and clean English truths like curbs more storms steadier than seawalls. Before 16 candles, Coral counted 55,000 distant friends, double-tapping every gold-edged portrait, proof that bright pixels hush cafeteria whispers louder than any teacher's hush. A scholarship ferried her to the mainland for marine robotics at the University of Florida. Daylight dissolved inside seagrass drone labs. Nights belonged to a 24-hour fryjack truck glowing jade beneath live oaks. The heat lamp turned into her single softbox. During low minutes, she filmed 90-second reels, twisting parchment wrap into frangipani barrettes while explaining dart rotation in a voice equal parts reef hush and lecture. Punk Club player Manatee chirps over a pocket synth groove while she chain-stitched reflective anchor line into thrift denim. 48 hours later, the clip crested past 1 million views. Gulf Coast style blogs held her the Fryjack couturiere, yet every sponsor offer wedged in her inbox at size 16. Coral slid each email into a folder named Shrinking Nets. Wiped honey drizzle from her cuff and flipped another back. A warm May moon brought an email from Columbia Sportswear seeking a wind shell capsule named Current Pulse. Coral replied with 3 rock-solid terms: patterns graded to 60-inch hips, crews half hire from vacational dive schools, and 10% of net profit dedicated to coral nursery rope farms just off Laughing Bird Cay. Columbia signed before first light shimmered on the tide. The shoot unfolded at sunrise on a shell sand spit where frigate birds yawed across pink hay. Coral coached Curvy paddleboarders through turquoise slicks while a drone traced gentle loops overhead. When the lookbook dropped every extended size wind, shell vanished in 41 hours across 25 nations. Reef Lantern vaulted past 700,000 followers. Still scented with Fryjack steam, she tucked behind flour sacks, balanced her phone on a bag of masa, and live-streamed tear-bright thanks beneath buzzing for. If the tide of that victory already lifted your chest, pause and hit subscribe right now. One gentle tap keeps each new swell gliding onto your screen before the algorithm drifts. Lock your seat while the wind is fair. Rumor Gull soon cruised the Strand. A clickbait vlog claimed Coral strapped carbon ribs around her waist between takes. At dawn, she paddled a mahogany skiff past the pier, stood easy in sport top and linen shorts, traced every stretch line with crushed bougainvillea bloom, and rattled a snare break on a steel tuna drum. 10 million viewers reposted the jam, dubbing it bougainvillea-proof, brushing magenta dust across their own curves until gossip drifted out with the ebb. Truck wages braided with capsule royalties and spun into Horizon Glow, a whipped body custard swirling coconut pollen butter, sea grape seed oil, and microflex that flash pearl when selfie lights blink. 19,010s rolled off her father's dock bench, tied tight with braided lobster pot twine, each tagged "Moisturize Your Horizon." Inventory melted in 83 minutes, raising $198,000, 20%, launched beacon grants, sending industrial surgers and pocket hydrophones to plus-size teens in atoll villages from Hopkins to Half Moon. 8 months later, 37 scholarship winners floated a fashion and parafish song showcase aboard a reef tour catamaran glowing with LED mangroves, streamed live to morning sets from Auckland to Accra. Key West Fashion Festival minted new legend. 90 heartbeats before curtain, a backstage blower sliced her emerald mesh gown from rib to thigh. Coral yanked neon dock rope off a lighting truss, laced the slash like sneaker eyelets, and strode forward as if the splice belonged to the pattern all along. Camera shutters crackled like fryer grease. Vogue sandbar named the save rope cadence, and another million lantern voyagers surfaced before reggae horns warmed the afterparty. A former PR aide leaked cropped emails alleging Coral demanded lobster, churros, and chauffeured catamarans for her rescue pelican Mojo. She posted the full thread: refillable water urns, plantain curry for crew, caption service for deaf stylists. That month's affiliate revenue, $137,000, funded biodegradable shrimp trap pilots in 3 bays. Fans echoed her jetty creed, receipts glint truer than rumor silt, until whispers sank beneath night tide. By midsummer, Reef Lantern shone across 6.6 million Instagram hearts, 3.3 million real Voyagers, and 2 million loyal channel subscribers. Engagement flirting with 10% and knocking brand strategists off balance. Cardi invited her to headline Topaz Surge inside Dry Tortugas Lighthouse Lens. Coral accepted once Cardi pledged therapy stipends for lobster deckhands battered by late-season hurricanes. The Real, her wrists scattering amber shards across cast iron struts, became Cartier's most saved post that quarter. Family steadies her compass. Twice each month, she streams strings and steam, mother looping bass lines over a propane stove, while father recites cumulus haiku and Coral upcycles thrift denim under fairy bulbs. One episode spiked at 9 million when Mojo flapped across powdered sugar and sneezed a blizzard onto the mic. A seabird rescue now sponsors every stream, tagging rehabilitated pelicans with solar beacons financed by Horizon Glow. Revenue crested 12 million by its second birthday. Coral leased a rusted conch cannery, carved skylights through corrugated tin, and hired furloughed charter captains, plus design grads to whip and jar. Every tin knot shut by hand during midday stretch dances to Punta House remixes. Supply consultants pleaded for heat shrink bans, but she repeated her mother's stage oath. Fingertips keep legends long after robots forget, and knots stayed human-tied. She threads open mental health notes through every post, pairing limestone bluff portraits with fry truck selfies, captioned, "Same sky, different weather," sharing breath loops recorded under mangrove arches, printable reframing sheets in English and Garifuna, and sliding scale therapy links. 108,000 followers now call her Shoreline Honesty their first safe cove. Community rides glow under crushed conch shell paint. Hundreds cruise the beachfront at dusk wearing Horizon Glow across collarbones and LED dolphin fins on spokes. Ticket proceeds deepen beacon grants and install wheelchair snorkel ramps at rocky coves. Fish shacks keep oil hot late on ride nights because conch fritter sales jump 15%. Coral pedals lead on a vintage cruiser with Mojo, plush snug in a cane basket, stopping to retie any rider's dragging lace. Our memoir, Currents Keep Names, floats into 11 languages next spring while a streaming crew tracks her quest to convert derelict weather buoys into floating maker labs for coastal schools. Puma's wide-toe wave lantern sneakers splashed in next quarter, threaded with reflective rope and cushioned by algae foam, steering 10% of every sail straight into Beacon Grants up and down the Caribbean. Second reminder rises with the tide. If your subscribe label is still red, flip it gray. Right now, the next chapter already paddles toward shore. Look in the description when playback ends. Waiting there, Fresh Horizon Glow drops the quick lane to Beat and Grit applications, tonight's Strings and Sting playlist, and one low-key compass, a research-grounded guide packed with conversation sparks and calm confidence rituals, the surest route to love, and the most dependable method to help every woman you meet feel that pulse in her chest. Zero paywall, all yours. Tap like if the Soda Cap Spine, Rocadence Rescue, or Mojo Sneeze tickled your grin. Drop the moment that splash brightest in the comments. Then share this voyage with a friend whose sails droop for lack of breeze. Every curve reroutes currents, every scar refracts moonlight, and the Caribbean bows to any soul willing to plant 2 white feet on the dock and greet tomorrow fearless. Third and softest ripple skips across your screen. Subscribe now, claim your seat on the deck, and meet me on the next swell when another story shimmers. Beyond the reef, and courage calls your name once more.